Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Rooted and Rising. I'm so excited to bring this conversation to you because I always tell my SELM students that even though the work can be challenging, we do the work not to escape being human. We do the work so that we're presented with information. Because when our body, when our lived experience, when our life is reflecting and presenting us with information, now we have choices. And when we have choices, we have freedom. So, coming fresh off of a SELM call last night, I felt so inspired to bring this to you this morning. Last night on one of our SELM calls, a student brought to me this piece around there's, a body positivity movement going on, and it's great and about time. And she expressed to me that she was very nervous to say this, but that it was also creating this shame in her of I'm not happy in my body right now, and it's a lie for me to just say I am to fit into this box of body positivity. And so her question was, how do I support body positivity and also love and nurture myself, of course, and also be honest that there's changes I want to make? And this really brought up so much in me around how we go about creating change, how we are in our honest expression with ourselves of where we are in any scenario, money, body, partnership, you name it. So in this conversation today, I'm going to share a little bit about how I view and how I teach that we make changes in our lives, how I view and how I teach honest expression, both inward and outward, and how we can really hold multiple truths at once, because really that's what it comes down to. In this student's example, can you support the body positivity movement? Can you also support yourself that you're not where you want to be and there's changes you want to make? And also, which we're going to talk about, can you do it in a way that isn't creating an internal war? Right? So let's use this example that my student brought of the body stuff. There's this movement, right? Body positivity, like amazing. And I so felt her in this, I feel like it's coming across like I'm being mean to others, or that I'm not positive, or that I don't love myself if I don't just follow that. Like my body's fine the way it is and I don't need to change anything. And she's like, but I want to make changes. So how do I dance that dance? How do I be in that in between? And one thing that I asked her, and that I would ask anybody who's in that space of I want to make changes, but I also don't want to, be ungrateful for where I am or not honor where I am, or, whatever story might come up for you, is what will the desired goal, right? Whether it's the money, the weight loss, the new city, the new partner, what will that desired goal bring to you? What is it that you assume you're going to feel when you have the thing, when you reach the mile marker? In this woman's experience, she said, if I get my body where I want it, I'm going to feel a sense of peace, because who I see in the mirror I don't even recognize. And this weight gain is not me. It's weight gain because of protection that I've built up, and because of things that have happened in my life that were out of my control, and this relationship to pain that I've endured. And so if I can lose this weight, what I will feel is peace. And so my practice for her was, okay, beautiful. So now how do we go about the changes we want to make in a peaceful way? Because here's the thing, if what we say the thing will give us is peace, and then we go about it with rigidity and force and stress and shame, when we get there, it's either A, never going to be enough, we won't recognize it once we get there, or we're just perpetuating more of the feelings that we had as we were getting there, right? It's why you see millionaires still being stressed about money. We get in these perpetual states of not being able to see what's really happening, right? We turn what it is we're trying to achieve into a control game instead of actually opening ourselves up to be able to receive the thing that we say we want to receive. So again, for this student, she wants to feel this sense of peace, and that's what losing this weight is going to bring to her. So how do we approach it in a peaceful way? And she instantly, I could see her shoulders drop and her face changed. And she was like, I wouldn't be counting calories and like just going to the gym trying to fit in with everybody else and like stressing myself out. I'd get back into my yoga practice. My yoga practice makes me feel peaceful. And I'm like, great, let's start there for a few weeks. And she was like, I wouldn't be stressing out about what I was eating. I would just eat as many colors as I could and fresh food from the farmer's market as I could. I'm like, great. Because here's the thing, we don't know how much time we have. We don't know what tomorrow holds. So if there's a feeling that we're after, we cannot give ourselves such a disservice to be dependent on something external happening for us to feel that feeling. We have to step into our sovereignty, into our creator consciousness, the version of us that is in co-creation with this life, and bring that desired sensation into the now. For the very simple fact that, like I said, we don't know what we're up against. We don't know what's coming tomorrow, how much time we have, etc. And what I was speaking to prior, we want to cultivate the thing we want from the energy that that thing is going to give us. I used this example on our coaching call with, my partner and I buying our land in Costa Rica. When I got honest with myself of what will that make me feel, it was going to make me feel free and safe, and responsible wasn't the word, but like in that umbrella of like I was putting my time, my money, my resources somewhere that was moving the needle. So we made sure that we were approaching the whole process in a way that felt free and safe and responsible. So I wasn't staying up on 2 a.m. like searching, lots for sale in Costa Rica, and I wasn't doing things that didn't feel true, and I wasn't being stressed out about it. If I want to feel free and safe because of something, I'm going to try to cultivate it in a free and safe way. So we made sure we had a lot of support. We made sure that Erin and I had lots of time to check in with each other, pulse check, make sure we're on the same page. When things started to not feel like they were working, we didn't force them. And of course, how life would have it, then something even better presented itself. So I'm not saying this in a way that we get passive with what we want, or that we just sit back and wait for it to happen. It's not that at all. I've tried that. It's not that at all. It's that we approach what it is we want with the internal experience of what that thing is going to give us. Why? And get real with yourself, right? Like if I'm like, why do you want a lot of money? And you're like, so I can just spend whatever I want and never think about it. Don't go and be like, well, now I'm going to spend whatever I want and never think about it, and that's how I'm going to make money. Like, no. What is the true felt sense in your body, in your nervous system, your deepest why of what the thing you want is of how the thing you want is going to make you feel, and start cultivating it from that space. You're doing so much here. This is like, reality creation. You're programming your nervous system to be a match for that thing. You're making sure that you don't miss it once it presents itself to you. You're making sure that you're taking ownership and you're not waiting on the external thing to happen before you feel it. Right? You're essentially creating a new nervous system feedback loop where now everything in your life is filtering through the lens of what you want, be it freedom, safety, peace, joy, ease, whatever, instead of everything that you're creating and experiencing going through the lens of stress and force and shame and anger. Right? We have the choice. We have the choice of what lens things are going through. With some subconscious work and some self-regulation and some nervous system training, right? So, what is it that you want in your life that you're like, oh, once I have that, then I'm going to feel XYZ? And then I want you to feel what's beneath that. Like, what will that thing really make you feel? Like, why do you want it? How are you going to feel? Not even what will you do with it, but how are you going to feel? And then get really honest with yourself. How can I cultivate that thing, that experience, that partner, that whatever, from that state? And you might be confronted with some resistance. You might be confronted with some core beliefs that you didn't know you had. Maybe you're confronted with making money has to be hard and it has to be a huge sacrifice. If that was something that you saw. You might be confronted with losing weight has to be painful and super restrictive and rigid. You might be met with the core belief of, to have a divine, amazing partnership, I have to sacrifice a lot of who I am. This work is not so easy. As we start to get clear on what we think the thing is going to give us, and then we try to attract it from that space, you're going to feel where all of your core beliefs contradict the feeling that you say you want. And when this happens, I invite you to not be frustrated, but to really lean into that, because if you don't, what is very likely going to happen is we won't ever get the thing we want, because again, our core beliefs, our subconscious core beliefs, are in contradiction to them. It's another really kind of sneaky and beautiful way that bringing the sensation and the way of being into your body now, as you cultivate what it is you think, what it is that you want is going to give you, right? So again, if you want money, because money is going to make you feel safe, start cultivating safety now. And then start seeing, where do you have some core beliefs that contradict that you can make money in a way that feels safe. Otherwise, you're going to keep doing what you're doing, and then you might not make the money because there's, again, a core belief blocking you. If you say you want love, and that love is going to make you feel joyful, start cultivating and trying to manifest your next lover from a space of joy. And when you go, well, I have to lose the weight first. I have to do this first. I have to do whatever. I have to go buy this new super expensive thing. You get to check yourself and be like, oh, do I have a core belief that somewhere in me believes I can't cultivate a relationship in a pure, total, joyful state? Because again, if that starts to come up, now we know we have some work to do, because now we know we won't attract a partner that makes us feel joyful if there's that internal contraction or contradiction or lack of resonance in there. So the process of manifestation, of reality creation, of making changes when there's something in our life we're not satisfied with, the whole process of it is illuminating and showing us where we have more healing and more work and more honesty to dive into. So to sum it up, first thing, when you realize there's a change you want to make, start practicing holding multiple truths. Can I want this thing and also be okay where I am, and also start working on, these pieces that I'm now starting to see need some work, and not make any part of your journey bad? Just holding multiple truths. Yeah. After that, start getting really honest and curious of, why do you want this thing? What is it going to make you feel? And then what's beneath that feeling, right? Go a layer deeper. And then, how can you create and cultivate and start to manifest or make the changes that you're wanting with that desired feeling in you already? Again, we're going to start aligning ourselves to the thing we want by bringing the sensation into the now. And we're also going to see where any of our core beliefs contradict with what we say we want. And we get to work on that in the process of shifting, of manifesting, of creating our reality. How beautiful. What a gift. And this isn't easy. It's not easy for us to to go against the grain and do things and create and change and shift and make really big life changes in a way that feels pleasurable or more easeful or less painful. Right? The world around us tells us that most of the things we want have to come at a high cost, have to be hard, have to be rigid. So this work isn't easy. And especially when you start to see where your core beliefs are not in alignment with what you say you want, it can be really shocking to the system and a bit destabilizing. But this work is what makes our life pleasurable and sustainable. It's what helps us be the leaders and the women that we know we're capable of being. And it helps us take this intrinsic nature of being feminine and sensitive and deeply feeling and not feel like we're drowning in the fast-paced modern world. I hope this was helpful. If this episode resonated with you, leave a review and let me know what resonated, what you want more of. If there's a friend that you think would benefit from this, please send it. We all have the moments where we wish we knew something sooner. Send this to somebody that it might support, that it might benefit. And of course, check back often for more podcast episodes, conversations, guest speakers, and Rooted and Rising exclusives. I'll talk to you all real soon.